What is good, defenders? And yeah, it's late. Sorry, it's like 1:40 in the morning. But you know what? Went out to the LAFC 2 match, hung out with a couple people afterwards, and now I'm back. It is Defenders After Dark. And yes, this is a solo scarf endeavor. Philly's still on vacation for at least one more day, although I think he's going to be joining us at the match tomorrow, which we are all set to talk about. That's right. LAFC taking on the Colorado Rapids at home. This is a very good Colorado Rapids team that we will see at the bank. And I personally cannot wait. Yes, I know it's still BMO Stadium, but it will always be the bank. What is good to everybody in the chat as well? Hello, hello, hello. This is a huge matchup between two top four clubs. Of course, LAFC now currently the best in the West, on our way to becoming best in MLS. And I cannot wait until after this match because I think this is going to be a fun one. First of all, I mentioned that I was at the LAFC 2 match. Congrats to LAFC 2 defeating Colorado Rapids 2 by a score of 3-2. Hold on to that score prediction for just a moment, or that score line for just a moment. So Rapids 2 falling to LAFC 2, 3-2. It was a furious comeback by Rapids 2. LAFC 2 had the whole match in hand. They were up 2-0 going into like the 85th minute. And then boom, lightning struck twice. Rapids 2 scoring in quick succession to tie it at 2 in like the 87th minute, and a very questionable penalty call for sure by the referee gives LAFC 2 a penalty in stoppage time, and DeCarlo Guerra absolutely banging home the penalty for LAFC 2 to take home all 3 points at home. Again, a comeback win of sorts. We lost the 2-goal lead, but then once again found our way on top 3-2. So congratulations. Also want to say real quick before we get into anything about Colorado, a big congratulations to Kike Oliveira, who got his 4th ever cap for Uruguay in their 5-0 win over Bolivia. He played the final 4 minutes and stoppage, subbing on in the 86th minute for Palistri, I believe. 5-0 win for Uruguay. And of course, as you guys all know, Uruguay's next opponent, none other than the U.S. men's national team. So it will be interesting to see if we get to watch Kike Oliveira play against the U.S. men's national team in what will likely be, if the U.S. men's national team keeps playing the way they do, their final match in Copa America, as Uruguay, I think, will dispatch of the U.S., but we'll see what happens. I don't know. Stranger things have certainly happened. But that being said, let's get into the match. We've already got one question by Kevin in the chat. If I think David Martinez will be getting any playing time. I don't, but we'll see how it goes. I don't think David Martinez will get run yet, but you know what? It all depends. I think this is the match if we are going to see him. I think this is the match to see him, obviously, with no Kike Oliveira in the lineup. I think it's very possible, but I don't think it will happen. Although I would love to see him come on maybe in a tail end of a blowout, kind of like Kike Oliveira did for Uruguay recently. I would love to see David Martinez be able to come on in like a 3-0 lead, something like that, towards the end of the match. But you'll have to wait for my score prediction in just a little bit. But let's talk about tomorrow's match at BMO Stadium. Tomorrow is Filipino Heritage Night. And as such, LAFC is releasing a new scarf and t-shirt. So props to Ben amongst many others out there. So don't forget, they have a new scarf and a new t-shirt for Filipino Heritage Night. So for all of you who do celebrate, make sure you pick up a new scarf. I'll certainly be picking up one at BMO Stadium at LAFC HQ because, you know, it's a scarf. I got to pick up the scarf and support all of our Filipino brothers and sisters who are part of the club. So, yeah, very exciting times, Filipino Heritage Night. Also, for all of you with pets out there, this is a big one. The first 10,000 fans in attendance tomorrow will get an LAFC Zippy Paws scarf, courtesy of Zippy Paws, the club's official pet toy brand. I'm assuming it's going to be one of those little itty bitty scarves for dogs. I could only hope it's like an actual full size scarf for scarf, but I think it'll be a scarf for maybe Philly's Gremlins. Will likely get the scarf in that case. So 10,000 fans, first 10,000 fans in attendance. And look, it's kind of cool. Our honorary Falconer will be De'Erica Hamby of the Los Angeles Sparks. She will also be part of Team USA, their 3-on-3 basketball team, which has won the gold medal in the last Olympics. Unfortunately, Cameron Brink, who was also on the Sparks, tore her, I believe, ACL and is out for the season. So De'Erica Hamby will be replacing her on USA's women's 3-on-3 basketball team. She'll be the honorary Falconer. That's pretty cool. A member of our Los Angeles Sparks. So yay, good for her. So that'll be fun. Lots of fun things happening before the match. But during the match, I'm expecting far more fireworks for sure. The Rapids are a very solid team. Like we mentioned, they are currently 4th in the West, the final team that will host a home match if they keep their position. 31 points through 20 matches. That is a 9-win, 7-loss, and 4-draw record. And by the way, they do have 4 wins this season on the road. So this is a team, no other team in the West has won more than 4 matches on the road. And by the way, after a very slow start, LAFC has now won 3 matches on the road and certainly has their fair share of draws as well. So performing much better on the road. That doesn't matter. Obviously, we'll be at the friendly confines, the cathedral of the black and gold, BMO Stadium. But Colorado Rapids not shy about winning games on the road. Again, 4 wins in road matches this season, tied for the most in the West. So a quality road opponent. 38 goals scored on the season by the Rapids. Now, they've played one more match than we have, but that is as many goals as we have scored on the season. It's also as many goals as Carson has scored on the season, tied for the second most in the West behind Real Salt Lake. But in the West, only 3 clubs have given up more goals than the 32 goals allowed by the Rapids. And I think that is the big sticking point for Colorado this season. They brought in Zach Steffen. And yes, the Zach Steffen, that very same Zach Steffen who was anointed as the once and future goalie of the U.S. men's national team. Well, notice how the U.S. men's national team is playing this week and last week in the Copa America, and you will not see Zach Steffen's name out there at all. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. In fact, Zach Steffen has not been great this season. In fact, it's been a little bit of a roller coaster for Zach Steffen on the year. Look, he's had a very good last 3 matches. All of the Colorado Rapids have had a very good last 3 matches, and more on that in a second. 1 goal allowed in Zach Steffen's last 3 matches. However, in the 4 matches prior to that, Zach Steffen gave up 13 goals. Now, yes, Chris Armas may have figured something out. They might have figured out their back line, things looking better for the Rapids. But over the course of a 7-game, larger, bigger picture, you're talking about 14 goals given up in 7 games. Yes, only 1 in their last 3. But, I mean, you're talking about a guy who's given up 5 and 3 goals in a match this season plenty of times. Zach Steffen's certainly not the heir apparent to the U.S. men's national team keeper spot. I love you, Mendo. There are currently no Defenders of the Bank pajamas available yet, and I know this is definitely Defenders After Dark, so we appreciate. We got a large contingent out there. Absolutely love you guys. Yeah, it's 1:50 in the morning, and I'm doing 1 more sleep. So look, Zach Steffen in net. He's obviously a big name for Colorado, but has not performed at the level that they would have liked. Again, 9-7-4 overall, so a team teetering around 500, but they are winners of their last 3. They have won their last 3 matches by an aggregate of 9-1. Yes, that does include a 4-1 victory over Montreal, where technically they didn't give up a goal to the opposition. So they haven't given up an opponent goal in the last 3 matches. But Lawless Abubakar, who's one of their backline defenders, he did score an own goal for Montreal, or I guess against Montreal, but an own goal for Montreal. Yeah, that works. We're going to keep it as own goal for Montreal. So winners of their last 3 by an aggregate of 9-1. They are certainly coming into BMO on a little bit of a heater. But before that match, and again, back and forth has been the season for the Rapids so far, winless in their 5 matches prior to this run of 3 straight wins. As you know, LAFC comes into the match on a 10-game unbeaten streak. That's right, 10-game unbeaten streak. So LAFC looking to keep their ride going. Colorado looking to continue their ride. And yes, this is the very same Colorado Rapids team that beat LAFC 3-2 back on March 30th at Dick's Sporting Goods Park in Commerce City, Colorado. A tough place to play, well over 5,000 feet up. It's on every door and wall as you walk into the stadium, so you know exactly how high you are. And look, LAFC has never played well there. Visions of the match where we went to go see them in the, what was it, a 5-1 loss, I believe, that eliminated us on the final day of the season, on decision day several years ago. So look, it's not an easy place to play. I'm not making excuses for us losing 3-2, but it was also the start of a bit of a hot streak for Georgi Mihailovic, and more on him in a minute. But he did have 2 goals in that 3-2 loss that LAFC suffered at the hands of Colorado at Dick's Sporting Goods Park. So again, a solid, if not streaking, Colorado Rapids team as we head to this match at BMO in, an hour, going on far less than 24 hours. We're actually less than 20 hours away. Again, it's like 1:53 in the morning. But you know what? We got to get it done, and we're doing it. So let's talk about our players to watch. This should be a fun one, you guys, because of these 2 players more than any other. Talk about low-hanging fruit. It starts and ends with Denis Bouanga for LAFC. Duh. We all know about Denis Bouanga, one of the best scorers, but also one of the best talisman in all of Major League Soccer. One of only 6 players with 8 goals and 8 assists or more on the season. And yes, he does have, I believe, 13 goals and 9 assists on the season. He's our guy. It starts and ends with Denis Bouanga. Matty Bogusz has been incredible. We've had a lot of the cast of characters step up for us as well. Kai Kamara being the most notable over the last few matches. But it starts and ends with Denis Bouanga. And Chris Armas loves to play, and I mean loves to play, in his 4-2-3-1 formation. And right underneath Rafael Navarro in that 4-2-3-1 is Georgi Mihailovic. And Georgi Mihailovic is young, he is talented, and he is fun to watch. 9 goals, 8 assists on the season. He is one of the other of the 6 players this year in Major League Soccer who has at least 8 goals and 8 assists thus far in the season. So you have 2 of the 6 playing in this match. And I believe that Georgi Mihailovic is going to be as impactful on this match as any player in black and gold, because he is playing right underneath their best goal scorer and right alongside 2 of their better offensive weapons as well. Their best goal scorer, Rafael Navarro, is a 24-year-old Brazilian who is incredibly fun to watch, and a player who I'm actually surprised is in Major League Soccer. Kind of a testament to how good Major League Soccer is right now. The fact that we get a guy the likes of Rafael Navarro in Major League Soccer rather than maybe taking a couple of chances for a team in the Brazilian first division or trying to play in a second division team somewhere else. He is in Colorado, of all places, with his 11 goals. And a lot of those 11 have been assisted on by Georgi Mihailovic. A couple of other names to watch out for: Cole Bassett with 6 goals. He's back on loan from 2 Dutch sides and is really hitting his stride with Colorado. He was supposed to be an heir apparent. Sam Vines, their left back, who is so much fun to watch. Think of him as maybe a little less talented, but right on the same level as Cheeky Palacios when he was at his best. They reacquired him from a Belgian side, Royal Antwerp. So bringing back Cole Bassett, bringing back Sam Vines, and then bringing in a couple of names that we've certainly heard of. Calvin Harris, who has 4 goals on the year, the former number 2 overall pick in the 2021 MLS Super Draft. And by the way, Calvin Harris and Scarf sharing a birthday, March 20th. So yay for Calvin Harris. I just hope he doesn't get too injured when we play him. That's all. And then Kevin Cabral. Yes, that Kevin Cabral, formerly of Carson. Kevin Cabral is now in Colorado. 3 goals and 3 assists, and somehow still being paid as a designated player for Colorado. Yeesh. Kevin Cabral has just failed upwards over and over again. Their third DP, by the way, is Andreas Maxu, the Danish center back. So Colorado, one of the few teams that uses a designated player spot on a defender, on a center back, Andreas Maxu, pairing with Lalas Abubakar. They are certainly a formidable combo in the middle. And again, like I said, Sam Vines, very, very good on the outside. A player who we will not see is a player who the world found out about just a couple of days ago, Moise Bambino. That's right, Moise Bambino, the guy who took out Lionel Messi in kind of a dirty tackle slide. But unfortunately, after that play, he received death threats and all kinds of stuff online. That was, my goodness, that was rough to see all the stuff that was said about him. He is actually, it had nothing to do with any death threats or anything that happened from Messi's camp. It's because he's with the Canadian men's national team, which is where that foul actually occurred. So Moise Bambino is not with the club because he is on international duty. So we won't be seeing him, but we will be seeing plenty of Georgi Mihailovic. Mendo, I did absolutely attend LAFC too. They won 3-2 tonight. I went out to dinner with Rich, which is why it took me a little bit longer. Uncle Rich and Scarfy got to catch up a little bit. So it was nice to see Uncle Rich today. That's what kind of took so long. We were hanging out. Georgi Mihailovic, Denis Bouanga as players to watch. Let's talk about why is that there? I thought I skipped that slide, but I guess not. My goodness. This will be fun because I have no idea what's coming up next. Scarf's keys to the match. As you know, it's just me on here. First and foremost is to stay disciplined. We have gotten far too many early, and I mean early, yellow cards this season. And I'm looking at you, Edward Atuesta. I'm potentially looking at you, Eric Duenas. I did not expect to be saying that name, but that 4th-minute yellow card that you received in Austin was an absolute head scratcher. I was there in the building. I saw it. It was just miserable. We need to prevent these early and foolish yellow cards because a team like Colorado is going to want to get out and run. A team like Colorado has far too many offensive weapons to be picking up silly yellow cards. In case you need to commit a tactical foul later in the match, or in case you need to do something that might lead to a yellow for maybe a good reason. I don't know. Maybe it's a foul and build up. Maybe it's something else that's not a boneheaded tackle in the middle of the park in the 21st minute. So we need to make sure we stay disciplined because of all those different offensive options, because they like to play that 4-2-3-1. We're going to have to hold our lines. We're going to have to communicate. We're going to have to play very solidly in this match to keep Colorado at bay. And I think, again, set piece success is something that is going to define this club moving forward, whether it be on offensive set pieces where we can maybe find a Kai Kamara, or we can figure out some ways to get creative in the box, or on defensive set pieces where it was a bit of a bugaboo for LAFC earlier in the season. We seem to have shored things up. And I love that about LAFC. I mean, look, there's a reason why 23 goals on the season so far given up. It is now tied for the fewest in the Western Conference, something we definitely didn't think we would say for about the first 10, 12 matches of the season. So, set piece success, if we can be disciplined in the midfield, disciplined throughout, I think that's all it will take for LAFC to be able to run through Colorado. Let's see, is Philly's slide going to show up again? It will. Look, the universe just seems to be saying 3-2. I know that means Hugo Lloris gives up 2 goals in this match. We saw Hugo Lloris give up 2 goals to San Jose. We've seen Hugo Lloris give up some goals. We've seen the back line give up some goals. But look, when we went to Colorado earlier this season, we lost by a score of 3-2. Tonight at Titan Stadium, Cal State Fullerton, LAFC 2 defeats Colorado Rapids 2 by a score of 3-2. Well, you know what? Great things tend to happen in threes. Bad things tend to happen in threes too, actually, if I think about how the saying works. But things tend to happen in threes, right? So not only will they happen in threes in terms of the amount of goals that we will score, but for the third time this season, a Rapids LAFC related scoreline will end 3-2, except this time we flip it on Colorado and we take home the 3-2 victory at home. I think this is going to be a very exciting match. It might be one of those where no team is ever farther than 1 goal away. Maybe we score early, they pull one back, we score again, they pull one back, and maybe just like LAFC 2 did tonight against Colorado Rapids 2, we find a late goal to pull one out 3-2. This is going to be a very good litmus test both for LAFC and for Colorado. Look, every time a club comes into our building, into BMO Stadium, it's a litmus test for them. They're measuring themselves against the back-to-back defending Western Conference champions, against the 2022 MLS Cup champions, against the current #1 club in the Western Conference. Every time a team comes in to BMO Stadium, we have the target on our backs, on our fronts, everywhere possible that we can put a target other than on the sleeve where the sponsor goes. That's just how it works playing for LAFC. That's just how it works going into BMO Stadium. And I think we take Colorado's best shot and we come out unscathed on the other side. 3-2 LAFC in a bit of a nail biter, and one that's going to be really exciting, really fun, and a wonderful second win for the weekend for the LAFC clubs, with LAFC 2 winning today 3-2 over Rapids 2. I think that they are going to take it 3-2 over Colorado. Those are my thoughts. I want to know how all of you guys feel out there. We got all kinds of fun people in the chat. We got all kinds of fun people on Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, wherever it is. Ox, I am up very late. That is for sure. But look, this is going to be a fun one. If you're not able to make it out to BMO Stadium, Filipino Heritage Night, make sure you get there early. If you are able to make it, first 10,000 fans will get a little puppy scarf, which I think is really cool. I know Philly will make sure he has one for each of the Gremlins at some point, because that would be a really cute picture and Christmas card. Philly, if you're listening, you got to make sure that happens. That would be awesome. We'll find a way to get 3 for each one of each of the Gremlins. But listen, if you can't make it out, make sure you guys check out Apple TV, tune in, watch. Make sure you guys are listening and following, of course, for everything on Defenders of the Bank. Hey, by the way, head on over to defendersofthebank.com. Click on the shop icon. We got plenty of cool t-shirts. This one I actually made myself, but this Defenders of the Bank logo, the Save by the Bell logo that our buddy Dexter and I came up with, we designed it. Dexter is incredible. Really love all the stuff that he has done for us. Make sure you check out defendersofthebank.com. Click on the shop icon. T-shirts, all kinds of different options, hoodies, and just all kinds of cool stuff, man. Check it out. It's really fun. And again, thank you all to Defenders Nation for staying up late. There are a bunch of you in the chat, a bunch of you watching on Instagram and on YouTube right now, live with us. Thank you all for tuning in late. But that being said, I've got 3-2. Tell me what you've got in the chat. Hit us up on social media. Let us know your score prediction, your players to watch, your keys to the match, you guys. We want to hear it. I've got 3-2. We'll be out there on Christmas Tree Lane all day tomorrow, tailgating before the match at 7:30. Don't forget Filipino Heritage Night. First 10,000 supporters in the building get a cool little puppy scarf. I can't wait to see it. I mean, it can't be a real size scarf, right? It's got to be a little puppy scarf. Can't wait. Either way, love you guys all so much. It is 2:06 a.m. here. Many of you will be listening to this on your way to the match, which is wonderful. Thank you guys for tuning in to One More Sleep one more time. And I get to try to find our brand. Here we go. Here's the outro. Love you. Bye-bye.